The Minnesota Twins are for sale, Coca. You want to buy a baseball team? Do you want to move? Hold on, I'm getting a call. This could be important. Hold on. A-Rod. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Yes, I do know the Twins are for sale. I'm in a show. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Don't give up the T-Wolves. Don't give up the ship yet. You didn't lose your arbitration. You're going to, but you didn't lose it yet. The Pohlad family made a big announcement. I always like this. Oh, before we get to that, sorry, Coca. When you decide to sell a team, there are two ways to sell a team. You either release a statement saying the team is for sale, or you make a few calls after having spoken to the commissioner. You have to speak to the commissioner first. And then you make a few calls to a few people and let the word get out. And then you call some people in the media and let the word get out. Or you hire an investment banking company called Allen & Company. Allen & Company is led by Steve Greenberg, son of Hank Greenberg. If you don't know him, you should. You pay them a huge fee for what? Now, this is a personal issue for me because I didn't hire any of these people to sell the Marlins for our owner. It's a baseball team. When you hire an investment bank in order to help sell something for you, you're hiring them to identify people who otherwise you would not be able to identify, to give the word out to people who otherwise may not have an idea that this asset is for sale that you have. I own the most amazing Fabergé egg. I really don't. I want to sell it. I need to hire someone who traffics in the Fabergé egg community because I want Roger Moore and everyone else to know in the circus that it's being sold. The Minnesota Twins released a statement. Do you think that there's a potential buyer out there? Oh, I didn't see the statement. Oh, I had no idea. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that after months of thoughtful consideration that the Pohlad family had reached a decision this summer to explore selling the Twins. Boom. Epiphany Central. Let me give you some of the facts about this, just so you have it. The Minnesota Twins. This is not going to come off right, Coca, but just let it go. After 4 decades of commitment, passion, and countless memories, we're looking toward the future with care and intention for our family, the Twins organization, and this community we love so much. Love you, Jim and Joe Pohlad. Quick history lesson. Way back about 4 decades ago, there was a man named Carl Pohlad who at the time, my time, entering baseball in 1999, Prince. Carl Pohlad was the richest owner in baseball, a multi-billionaire. The Minnesota Twins were playing in the Metrodome, very low payroll. In about 2000, the Minnesota Twins were a candidate for contraction, just like the Expos and the Marlins. Those were the candidates. The deal back then is that there'd be a payment made to Carl Pohlad, and his team would be taken away. Contraction was used as a negotiating tactic for a CBA. It was used as a negotiating tactic to get a ballpark in cities that needed a new ballpark. But it could only be used if you had an owner willing to be contracted. Jeffrey Lurie was not willing to be contracted. Carl Pohlad was. And I am not yucking on the yum of the legacy of a great man and a great family at all. I'm merely saying that owners of teams, while they can tell you that it's all about the community and the fans, when it comes down to business, and this isn't the last story of the week, when it comes down to business, it's not about the community or the fans. And their statement, which was released purposefully, look at the order that they gave you. Who approved this? You're supposed to lie. You're supposed to pretend that it's the community and the Twins organization that come first. But they said our family. I mean, they're right. And every other owner is the same. Of course, your interests, the best interests of the family come first. Carl Pohlad had a bunch of sons. When Carl Pohlad passed away, Jim Pohlad became the control owner. I've known and worked with Jim Pohlad for decades. Jim Pohlad has a brother named Bill Pohlad. You've seen some of his movies. He's far more interested in producing on the silver screen than producing in the 3-hole on a random Tuesday in July. You've got the nephew of Jim Pohlad, or the grandson of Carl Pohlad. Stay with me. You can figure that out. Jim Pohlad has a brother. The brother has a son. That's the grandfather, Carl, and the nephew of Jim, who's taken over day-to-day operations. He's the one who made the announcement all about the Twins being for sale. It was a very, very big-time announcement. Why? Why is that such a big-time announcement? Because teams are rarely sold. 2 people contacted me after this happened and said, who would want to buy the Twins? Is there anyone you can think of? And the answer is that when you've got a new ballpark with favorable terms, a city with a rabid fan base, although no roof, when you've got Carlos Correa at $30 million a year, Brian Buxton at $15 million a year, and Pablo Lopez at $21 million a year signed, about $66 million committed, you know that there's upset in your broadcast market. We're going to talk about that later in the show as well. You know that baseball in general, there's only 30 teams, soon to be 32. There's no financial reason that they're selling. It's a reallocation reason. The reason why the learners in DC are selling is that the main guy died, Ted Turner, and the children are having a disagreement over how much money should be in baseball versus how much money should be in what we want it to be versus what we want to do for a living versus estate planning. It's hard to get siblings to agree on where to go to dinner or what movie to see. You don't think it's hard on siblings who inherit a team? We've seen it time and time again. The fights. Bus family, anyone? The Bolin family, anyone? This is normal, where a patriarch has a team or a matriarch. Then when the children take over and they realize, hey, my name's Hal Steinbrenner. Get out of here, Hank. It happened with the Yankees. Hal got rid of Hank so fast your head would spin. So the Pohlads, they're trying to figure out what they want to do, how they want to do it. Just because Jim Pohlad is the control person for Major League Baseball purposes, that's the guy who gets to go to the owners' meeting, gets to vote whenever there's a vote. It doesn't mean that he's in charge of the Twins and the future of the Twins. He's got brothers to think about, siblings, and they all have, wait for it, the same stake, which means you have to figure out a way to get alignment. And what happens in the world of misalignment? Not just sports, business, family. Don't you sell the underlying asset and split the proceeds? How many of you have had to do that in a divorce? Sell the house, both because you had to and that's what made sense to do? Very, very common. So the Minnesota Twins are going to start the process, and I like that they do that. They said they've reached a decision to explore selling the Twins. That's what we're all supposed to say. And the reason why you say that, I never said that with the Marlins. I said, we're selling. I was told to sell the team. Why lie? The reason why you say explore a sale is that if you don't get the number, you get to be like Artie Moreno. I explored a sale. I didn't get the number I wanted. It's off the market. The Nationals did the same thing. The Twins aren't exploring a sale. They're selling. The Learners are not exploring a sale in DC. They're selling.